Hi. In this assignment, I act as a data analyst at the Netflix. So I will explain a data-driven approach to understand the Netflix challenges. So my analysis is based on the assigned new article and the public dataset. So the key business challenges from the article is like the first, the Netflix reported subscriber loss. It was the first loss in more than 10 years. The article says the Netflix lost about 20 million subscribers in the quarter one 2022. The Netflix also forecast a bigger loss for the next quarter. Second, the competition is increasing. So more streaming platforms enter the market. This makes the growth harder. And third, the password sharing is a major issue. The article estimates over 10 million households access Netflix through sharing, and this creates a revenue ceiling. The fourth, the macro factors matters. Inflation reduced the consumer spending. The Russia and the Ukraine war also affect the subscriptions. Finally, the price increase may increase the churn. And the article mentioned the loss in the US and Canada after price hikes. So the main challenge is slow growth, and even negative growth in the some periods. So, translate to the data-driven business problems. I convert it into clear analytics problems. The business goal is to understand when the subscriber growth slow down and identify the turning points, measure how severe decline is. The target KPI is the total subscriber per quarter and the net subscriber additions per quarter. The stakeholders is the growth team, the pricing team, the product team, the senior leadership. This is mainly descriptive analytics. It is the first step before the deeper causal analysis. So the data selection, I found it from the Kaggle, the data set called the Netflix consumer subscription. It contains the quarterly subscriber counts from the 2013 to the 2023. And it is relevant because it directly tracks the same KPI discussed in the article. It allows the trend analysis over a long period, and it helps detect the breaks like the 2022 subscriber loss. But it also has limitations since it does not include the reason to the show and it does not include the region level breakdown. So it cannot fully explain the why, but it can clearly show when and how much. So for the data cleaning and the preparation, the data has two columns right over here, the time period and the subscriber. So my cleaning steps were simple but necessary. First, as right over here, I standardized the columns names and made them lowercase and consistent. Second, I convert the time columns to the data format. I use the PD to datetime and set the date first equal to true. And third, I converted the subscribers into the numerical type. The fourth, I removed the duplicates, if any. I also dropped the rows with the missing dates or missing subscriber values. The fifth, I created new features. Um, I calculate the net adds to quarter differences. I calculate the packed change is to quarter growth rate. So for the EDA reviews, now I summarize the key EDA results, the patterns and trends. The first chart, I plotted the total subscriber over time. Uh, the long the long-term trend is upward. The growth accelerates around the right here around the 2020, and this matches the COVID stay-at-home period. The second chart over here, and for better understanding, combine like this. Um, I plotted the net subscriber addition per quarter, and this chart shows the growth momentum. The most quarters are positive, but the 2022, right over here, is a clear turning point. In the dataset, the quarter one 2022 shows the net adds around is like negative. to 20 minutes. And this matched the articles. Another quarter in the 2022 shows that even larger negative value is this one. And this suggests a broader slowdown after the peak growth years. The third chart here, um, I add a market line at the 2022 quarter one. It highlights where the decline begins. It connects the article event to the data. The fourth analysis, I compared the three time periods, the pre-COVID, the COVID boom, and the post-COVID. The average net adds are highest during the COVID and lower in the post-COVID period. The average growth rate also declines. This supports the idea that the pandemic growth was temporary. The key business insights and actions based on the analysis, I have three main insights. The first one is Netflix still has a large subscriber base, but the growth momentum is weakened. The key risk is stagnation and churn. The second one is the 2022 looks like the structural breaks, and this where the net has turning negative. It suggests the company needs a new growth strategy. And the third one is to address the problems. The Netflix should focus on both on the retention and the monetization, not only the acquisition. So the action ideas align with the article, the test lower price and the ad support tier. This can reduce the price sensitivity. So improve the password sharing conversion, for example, paid sharing options, and add more values to justify the pricing. For example, the stronger content differentiation. The next step for the data is like in a real company, I would add the internal data, viewing the behavior logs, the showing reason, the pricing experiments, and add account sharing signals. With external data, I could also add the inflation or the competitor timing data. So to conclude, I use the public quarterly subscriber dataset, so I cleaned it and engineered net adds as a growth rate. The EDA confirms the quarter one for the 2022 subscriber loss mentioned in the articles. It also shows the weaker growth after the COVID boom. These findings support the strategy like the new tires and improve the monetization. Thank you for watching.